well, this just might be my masterpiece. I kid you not, guys. I bet you all the money in the world that that is what Quentin Tarantino said to himself when he finished the screenplay for this movie. I swear it's gotta be. It just has to be. And then he said, you know what? I don't like the line I used to end the movie. I'm gonna change it and put that line in there. There you have it. Ending of this movie. Boom. Anyway, hey there guys, what's up? What's going on? It is Autobot Mike 18 here, back with another one of my old movie reviews. I shot this. This is like the third take I'm doing it. That's the second time I messed up on old movie reviews. I kid you not. And you guys know how I only use one take. I don't edit a lot or at all. But anyway, it's staying in there. If I mess up, oh well. But guys, yes, it's a new, got a brand new old movie review for you guys today. Sorry, I've been on and off with the old movie reviews. I know that I did them for the Bourne series when I came back from that week off I was in July, and I didn't do any others, and I feel really bad about that. I haven't really watched a lot of classic movies this summer like I had intended to going in. So for that reason, the next couple of weeks, I want to try to give you guys so many reviews for classic movies I'm still trying to catch up on. And the first one we have up for in this video, guys, is Inglorious Basterds. That's right, guys. I have finally watched Inglorious Basterds. You guys can finally stop telling me go see this movie. I've now finally seen it. Guys, Inglorious Basterds is Quentin Tarantino's movie that was released in 2009. You guys all know how big a name Tarantino is. This movie is widely regarded as one of his best, right up there with Pulp Fiction, if not better than Pulp Fiction, as some will say. I have had many friends and classmates who have personally told me, Mike, what are you doing with your life? How have you not seen Tarantino's Inglorious Basterds? I don't know what's wrong with you. Okay, you gotta watch this movie. So yes, I have finally seen Inglorious Basterds, and I can finally now leave my thoughts on it. It's about time. So guys, Inglorious Basterds, getting into the premise of this movie, and of course guys, as you know, I never spoil, not even in my old movie reviews. I know this movie came all the way out back in 2009, you know, so it's been out for a couple of years now, but I'm still not going to spoil because I don't do that. Not about that life. But anyway, Inglorious Basterds follows a group of Jewish Americans led by Lieutenant Aldo Raine. Yes, that is his name. Played by Brad Pitt in this movie. And what is their one task at hand? Well, it's to kill Nazis. I tried to do it in his accent. I tried, didn't work. Oh well, just forget about it. Forget I attempt to do impersonations. They don't work. But yes, they are being called or referred to by the German soldiers as the Bastards. And they're going around killing and scalping Nazi soldiers. We also have big colonel of the SS, Colonel Hans Landa, played by Christoph Waltz in this movie, who is going around killing Jews and essentially trying to figure out trying to find essentially the members of this bastards group, okay? So that, my friends, is basically everything I want to get into regarding Inglorious Basterds. I'm just going to say this much. It's Tarantino, it's violent, it's darkly funny, and it's I don't know what that was. Jewish American guys killing Nazis. There you go. In 1940s. Boom. Inglorious Basterds. That's your movie. Now, guys, this movie, obviously, this is not what accurately happened in history, okay? There was no group known as the Bastards that went and killed Nazi soldiers in German, you know, behind enemy lines. And, you know, there wasn't anything like this. If there was, it was done on the battlefield, I'm guessing. There wasn't one specific, you know, American Jewish group of men that were so hell-bent on essentially vengeance and giving these soldiers a taste of their own medicine, essentially. But in Quentin Tarantino's world and in this fictional world, it is so entertaining and different to watch something like this transpire. Because what is one thing people totally would want to see in a movie? Adolf Hitler and his Nazi Reich getting what they deserve, essentially. That is like every person's like wet dream for a World War II fictional story. And Tarantino brought that to life with Inglorious Basterds. And I just think that that's amazing in its own right. Now, I know that this is easily that type type of movie to strum up a lot of controversy concerning the violence and the fact that the Nazis were murderous douchebags, and if you just have Jewish American people running around killing Nazis, it makes them what the Nazis were, essentially. I totally don't agree with that. I know some people knocked the film for that, but I don't see it that way, honestly. I mean, Nazis are killing Jewish men, and violently, I must add. They're sadistic sons of bitches, and they are killing people. So what's wrong if you have a ragtag group of 8 guys who are pretty badass, if you know, I'm pretty sure all you would agree with me on that, just giving these Nazis a taste of what they deserve? Damn straight. That is why Inglorious Basterds is awesome. I enjoyed the hell out of this movie, guys. That's right. I had a blast watching this movie. From beginning to end, I was so hooked into this one for sure. It's amazing that Tarantino was working on the screenplay for Inglorious Basterds, I think even before Pulp Fiction came out. He'd been working on it for like 10 years or something, and then finally got it back into, the conversation, and finally started working on it some more. I think he held off for a long time, and I can imagine what he must have gone through to write this screenplay. About a lot of the dialogue in this movie is spoken in French and German, and I could imagine how difficult that must have been to be in that mindset and to keep track of that, especially while you're on set, and make sure every actor is doing exactly what they need in another language. So that's pretty damn impressive for me, saying that much. But regardless of how long it took Tarantino to work on this screenplay, I think that this is fantastic. This movie is just... It's bloody, it's violent, it is excessive, but it is so satisfying. That is the best word I could find to describe this movie. To watch all of these events transpire on screen, essentially. We are introduced to several characters throughout this story who have hit their lowest low and have essentially been stripped of everything from these Nazi SS soldiers. Especially with that opening sequence. It made me feel for one character in particular. She's a French-Jewish woman, and she's played by Melanie Laurent in this movie. She has a whole other subplot where she owns a cinema in France, and there's going to be a big German premiere of a movie, and that's basically the whole end of the second act, whole third act of this movie is devoted to that whole plot point at the cinema, at that one location. And it's characters like that I was like, damn, I really want to see them get the better of these scumbags. I really do. And it's so fulfilling to get that, to see them concocting a plan to just essentially kill all of these men. And it's so rewarding, and it's so 100% captivating and entertaining throughout the entire movie. And that's ultimately what I loved about Inglorious Basterds. It sucks you in and invests you fully into the story because of great dialogue, amazing performances, excellent, very, very unique direction, and an interesting approach to this overall subject matter, I guess you could say. A great score, great everything, production design, everything, from every aspect of production, everything is on point in this movie. Editing and everything, oh my goodness, everything worked with Inglorious Basterds from all those perspectives. Let's talk about the performances really quickly, because that is one of the best things going for this movie. I want to talk about the screenplay a little bit more in detail, because that, in my opinion, is the shining knight of Inglorious Basterds. That's the best thing going for this movie, and that's primarily because of how talented a writer Quentin Tarantino is. That said, performances go, everybody is amazing in this movie. First off, let's talk about Brad Pitt, because I feel that he sort of isn't talked about a lot for this movie. A lot of people rave about Christoph Waltz as Hans Landa, and don't get me wrong, Christoph Waltz in this movie, oh, whoa, this guy is talented. This guy is a great actor. I honestly cannot wait to see him in Django. I have still yet to see Django Unchained, and I really can't wait to see where he goes, essentially, with Django. But he won 2 Oscars in the supporting role, and absolutely well-deserved. But Brad Pitt in this movie, to me, was so comical and so over-the-top. It just worked so well. Like, that was a character I really got into. Not only was his accent ridiculous and 100% entertaining to watch, but I don't know what it was with this guy. He's like a cold-hearted, ruthless bastard, but he's so charming at the same time. And he's so endearing to watch. I loved him in this movie. I thought he was fantastic. One of my favorite performances from Brad Pitt, Inglorious Basterds. He is excellent in this movie. And I'm not a huge Brad Pitt fan. I'll be honest. I'll go out on a limb and say it. I'm not a big fan of the guy. I think he is great in this movie. Right up there with his performance in Seven, for sure. So that was one thing that was great. Now, Christoph Waltz in this movie is another whole level of greatness in his own right. He is just, again, kind of like Brad Pitt's character. He's so ruthless and just a vile son of a bitch in this movie. But the cool thing about, you notice how I'm cursing a lot more than I normally do? It's because Tarantino, man. It's Tarantino. It's in honor of Tarantino. But here's the thing I love about Christoph Waltz in this movie. The guy is so polite and he has so many manners. He comes off as this really nice, amiable guy that you kind of want to get a conversation going. You want to talk to this guy. You want to sort of become his acquaintance. But he has a really dark and twisted side deep down under him that he barely lets out until like the very last minute of a conversation. And I'm specifically talking about probably one of my favorite openings to a movie now. The opening scene in this movie. Holy word. Not only was the camera utilized in a perfect way to show who has the power in the scene, who's advancing the scene and bringing it further, and where the cuts and everything, you know, showed where each character was, their position and everything. But that scene is a perfect introduction to his character. I wish I had more of this man in this movie. He is incredibly flawless in this scene of this movie. No, like nothing. He just comes off as this perfectly inviting and warming guy, and he's so polite and he smiles all the time, but deep down, if you look past that, there's this really harsh, cold bastard that you're watching at. He's not a member of the Bastards, but he's a bastard in this movie. Holy crap. He was excellent, excellent work. We also have Michael Fassbender is also in this movie. Not very long, but he is very, very good in the one scene he's in. And it's because of how great the dialogue is too, which I'll get into that. Great female performances as well. Diane Kruger is really good. Melanie Laurent killed it in my opinion. There's this whole conversation she has with Hans Landa's character in this one restaurant, and it's so riveting because you're just like, how is this woman just sitting there just taking this conversation from this ruthless bastard who just ruined her entire life essentially. It's just such good writing and such good performances. Daniel Bruhl is also great in this movie. Eli Roth is great as what was his name? The Jew Bear, I think. Just awesome. Like whoever played Stiglitz, excellently done. So performances are all great. What's the true shining armor though of Inglorious Basterds? It's the dialogue. And I've been saying this since I saw, and I know I've only seen Pulp Fiction and The Hateful Eight, and now I have seen Inglorious Basterds, so I've only seen 3 of Tarantino's movies. But I'm gonna continue to say this about Tarantino. I think the man is an incredibly talented director. He really is. His shot sizes work, his framing choices, I admired all of them. His decisions of when to move the camera, when to push in, when to wrap around or go in a circle between two characters who are talking. I admire all those decisions perfectly. His lighting choices, he just has an absolute command of control as a director for this movie. But where does Tarantino shine the best? It's as a screenwriter. I think Tarantino is one of the best screenwriters of the modern age, for sure. I think he's written 3 of my favorite scripts of recent years. I know Pulp Fiction's 94, but what are you going to do? One of the best scripts in the 90s was Pulp Fiction. One of the best scripts of the 2000s is Inglorious Basterds. And one of the best scripts of this current decade is The Hateful Eight, for sure. This man just knows how to perfectly blend humor, dark humor, like really dark humor, into a script with over-the-top violence and incredibly irresistible conversations with characters where the tension is just slowly surmounting throughout their dialogue with each other. You have no idea the outcome of each and every scene. It could honestly end in either way. That entire sequence with Michael Fassbender and Diane Kruger in the tavern was 100% riveting. I did not know what side was going to get the upper hand of the other side. It's just so fascinating to watch. And that's honestly, I can honestly say Inglorious Basterds is about 85% dialogue. But what keeps it from being slow and boring is that it's really good and really investing dialogue with really strongly written characters for the most part, that not only you care about, but you're also disgusted by some of them, and you honestly just can't wait to see who's going to win the scene. And it's just such a great payoff at the end of every scene, at the end of every conversation. I know it sounds like I'm just fanboying out over here over Tarantino, but I am. He's so great. He knows how to write dialogue. He understands human people, and I know that there may be not a parody of like actual soldiers or anything, but they're so different and they're unique in his Tarantino world, and I just love it. It's just so brilliant. That said, guys, everything else worked so well. Production design, the score, the cinematography is excellent in this movie. I love the editing, or more specifically, the lack of editing. I love how long we hold on certain shots where two characters are talking back and forth and we don't cut away, because it really showcases that the actors are great and giving really solid performance work. The acting is perfection in this movie. Everybody is fantastic. Everything is great in this movie. If I had to complain about two things, I'll say this much. I know I've only seen this movie once, and personally, I feel I need a rewatch. I definitely want to rewatch and reinvest my time into this movie, but I already feel that the opening scene is one of the best. I love the third act of this movie so much. The climax, everything is so satisfying and rewarding. My only problem does come in with the ending of this movie, and one decision by Christoph Waltz's character that I just didn't buy. I wasn't all that invested into his decision. I thought it was a reach, honestly. Not only did it come out of nowhere for me, but I was like, I don't buy that he would actually do that in the end of this movie. You'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. If you haven't, maybe it's just me. I don't know if it's just me, or do you guys feel the same way? Did you buy his decision at the end of this movie? I just didn't. I didn't. The way his character was going throughout this entire thing, I don't know. I just couldn't get behind it. I do feel a few side characters needed more meat and development. I don't think this is his best written movie. This is an amazing screenplay and near flawless screenplay for sure. I don't think it's his best screenplay. His best screenplay is sitting on my wall behind me. Those characters I think I connected with and I enjoyed overall as a presence a lot more than these characters. That said, these characters are fantastic and just completely, they're excellent, okay? Everything is close to perfection with Inglorious Basterds. I had a blast with this movie. It's fun, it's engaging, it's intense, it's suspenseful. The character writing is great, the acting, the direction, the screenplay is one of his best for sure. Guys, Inglorious Basterds, I'm gonna go high with it. Not all the way, but I'm gonna go 9.5 out of 10 or a grade of an A for Inglorious Basterds. Wow. Go see that movie, guys. If you have not done so already, it is great. I can't wait to watch the rest of his filmography now. Kill Bill movies, Reservoir Dogs, Django, I gotta watch all of them. Tarantino, you are the man. Guys, that's all I have to say for my review of Inglorious Basterds. Thank you so much for watching. Leave me your thoughts on the movie if you've seen it down below. And as always, guys, I greatly appreciate you tuning in and watching my videos. It means a lot to me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, guys.